Yeah.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Happy Saturday. And welcome to another one of our videos. Thanks for watching.
Are we good on both angles here?
Thank you so much for everyone who's watched the ones before. Thank you for all your comments, your likes, letting us know that you've seen them.
That's good.
If there's anybody who doesn't know us, I'm Ashley.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are married.
We are married. She likes me a lot.
And we are publishing relationship content to hopefully inspire other couples to become a power couple and hopefully help change the world one couple at a time, one relationship at a time.
One power couple at a time. This is actually going to be a kind of a fun one. I mean, the topic's not so much fun, but
it's a bit heavy.
But it's huge, right? And it's something that
Yeah.
Ashley and I talk about it all the time. And it's like, how do you know? You know, we want to make power couples, and we want to make people better and happier and more fulfilled in their relationships. But how do you know if you are in a relationship where you can do that?
Yeah.
You know, how do you know if what you're in right now is good enough to get you there?
Right.
And so that's what we're going to talk about a lot today. And I am kind of excited about this. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah, we really believe that power couple is the only relationship you should be in. And if you're not in one of that level, then you need to work on yourself and do what you need to do so you can get that into your life.
Yeah.
And the first thing that I personally had to do, and Patrick too, I think, I'm pretty sure, before we were able to have this in our life was we had to leave bad relationships that we were in before.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find yourself in bad relationships because you fall in love with somebody and then it's not really a good dynamic. You're not very compatible. Sometimes life circumstances come up where things change and you change and people change and you find yourself in a bad kind of relationship. Or sometimes you don't know how to take care of each other and maybe there's been some issues or some problems. Maybe someone's hurt somebody in the past and you have issues that you can't really resolve. And what we're going to do today is talk about what you can look for in your relationship if you think you may be in one that is not good. Not serving you as a person and not serving the world. And if you think that you can probably do better or you're unsure, then this video will definitely help you determine whether or not that relationship is something you should probably end.
Oh. And I think this will be a good launching point too, right? Because we have a lot of other content for how to make your relationship better, for how to do things to help sort of make it the amazing relationship that it should be. But so this is a good place to start because we want to make sure that you're in the right relationship first.
But yeah, exactly. And I posted something the other day that said you can't wave a magic wand and turn him into your dream man. And I really believe that. If you're not with the right person, then you cannot, no matter how much work or effort or therapy or books you read, you're never going to be able to get something really phenomenal with you if somebody's not compatible with you. So today we're going to learn what it will look like if your relationship is toxic and not great.
Yeah, so some things that you should look for in your relationship that we think are
big red flags.
Pretty clear identifiers that you're in a bad, big red flags. That's a good word.
Yeah, and I'll just say quickly, when I was going through this a couple of years ago with America's Father, I was really confused and really nervous about that decision. I didn't know if I was going to make the right decision by leaving him. I didn't know if I was going to do the right thing by her. It was really, really scary. And I thought a lot about it. I mean, it was a big decision to take my child away from her dad. And I didn't want to make the wrong decision. I had put years and time and effort and feelings and love into this person, into this relationship. And for me to kind of admit failure and have to move on was really, really hard. So I sought out these types of red flags in the areas so I could know I was making the right choice. And I came across a book, but I didn't come across much else. So I'm hoping that if you're in a situation like I was in at any point, that maybe this will give you some peace, and know that just because you do have to make tough decisions, It doesn't mean that you shouldn't, and it doesn't mean that you're alone. That it is a good thing to do the right thing for yourself and to make the right decision for yourself to leave a bad relationship every single time. That is a good thing. So.
And we want to help you.
And Patrick, you have the same experience, don't you?
Yeah. So I think there's a laundry list of reasons you can find yourself in a relationship.
I don't think anybody just got shot.
That sounded like a gunshot, didn't it? What happens when you live in
This is out here,
hashtag country living. So I think there's a laundry list of reasons why you can find yourself with the wrong person or in a relationship. But
yeah,
it just ultimately it happens, and you make mistakes. And what we want to do is just make sure that we are empowering you to make the decision that we made. And that's to get out of a relationship where there's just not a compatibility between you and the person that you're with.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a bad person, doesn't make them a bad person. It just, you can find yourself in the wrong relationship. And if you are, then you need to have the tools and the confidence to get out. And so I think there's one of the biggest things.
The red flags.
For me, one of that is first and foremost would be abuse.
Yeah, so that's one of our red flags is physical abuse, because there's two types, and we can talk about both, but
yeah,
physical abuse obviously is a serious red flag. It should be taken extremely seriously. It is a massive indicator that you are not a dynamic couple or compatible whatsoever. So any kind of physical abuse should be taken extremely seriously.
Yeah, there are a million ways out
and
there
I've seen
help.
it so many times. And people just put up with it and live with it. And I'm going to tell you right now, do not live with it. It's not okay. Yeah. You deserve so much better. And you are never going to be able to fix that in your relationship. That sort of power, drive, and dynamic is not something that's going to go away.
It just means that at its most basic part, that you're just not communicating. Your communication has gotten to so bad, and your ability to deal with your emotions, especially if either way, you should never break down and hurt the person that you're with. That's the exact opposite of what you're going for.
It's a very big sign of a very, very toxic relationship, and it should be taken extremely seriously. And if you have any physical abuse in your life, you should look up resources on what you can do to educate yourself on how you can heal yourself and get out of that relationship, but you should 100% move forward to leaving. Yeah. 100%, no doubt about it. Do not hesitate or wait.
We understand too that sometimes you can be, there's some fear involved, and it can be kind of hard to move forward.
Yes.
So if you're in this situation and you need some help, direct message us.
Reach out.
We'll respond and give you some great some tools and some places that you can go to get the help that you need.
Sadly, physical abuse is very, very common, but it's never okay.
Ever.
That's good.
Yeah. So the other kind of abuse would be emotional abuse, right?
Yeah, a pattern of emotional abuse you find in your relationship over a long period of time. That is just as damaging, just as toxic as a physical abusive relationship. And it is just going to slowly suck you into suffocation. And
it'll just kill you. And
some signs of emotional abuse, I think, are kind of manipulation, lying, not telling each other where you are, hiding things from each other, flirting with other people in front of your person to instigate maybe a fight, putting your person in danger at any point, and just kind of playing games like that. I remember in one of my previous relationships, I got in kind of an argument with my boyfriend, and his response was to drop me off on the side of the road in the middle of the night and make me walk home in the middle of the night for like 2 hours. It was like probably a 10-mile walk all by myself. That's emotional abuse, that could probably be considered physical abuse and emotional abuse, but that kind of situation is a very good indication that you are in an emotional abusive relationship. And in another relationship I was in, it was very, very commonplace to not answer your phone, not come home. I had no idea where he was. And it was sort of a game where it was not a big deal. And for me, it was like emotionally traumatizing.
Yeah, it's not okay.
So an emotional abuse of any kind is really, really toxic. That's not something you're really going to be able to overcome. It is a very good indicator that your dynamic and compatibility is just not there.
Yeah.
Sorry, but a true dynamic compatible couple does not emotionally abuse each other. They're well aware of each other's emotions, and they're well aware of taking care of each other all the time, and that's their priority. If your relationship doesn't have that, then it's not a good relationship.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. And I've had that in my own relationships. I had one where every time that she would get angry, she would just the most, like the meanest, nastiest things. And yeah, not every time, but enough times that it just is enough to it just rips your soul out, and it tears you apart, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And it's just not
it's abusive.
It's really, really bad, and especially as a man, I think it was even more difficult for me to identify that as something that was really, I knew in the moment that I didn't like it.
Abusive.
But over time, it really, really takes its toll.
Yeah, and I'll say this thing about emotional abuse too. It's like a slow poison, and it can be really hard to identify in the moment. It's very easy for you to forgive and let it go and continue in that situation, and it's very, you can recognize it very strongly when you get yourself out of the situation and you finally start working on yourself and healing yourself. That's when you realize how traumatized you actually were, which was in my scenario when I left and I got single, and I went through this whole roller coaster of emotions and healing my own heart and soul. I came to the conclusion that my relationship was a lot worse than I ever actually realized. Yeah. So just take into consideration any emotional abuse flags and take them really seriously, because they can really, really mean something's not right and not good and not repairable. That's the other thing about these lists. This is not something you're going to be able to really work out. These are things that you need to really consider breaking up over. These are deal breakers for reals. The other thing about emotional abuse, I'll say, I just have one little thing.
Okay.
I don't know how many other women do this, but I would find myself very often, usually at night in bed, sleeping or trying to go to sleep, and I would be very upset, very depressed, very sad, very alone. I had moments of feeling empty and like I was neglected and no one was there for me. That's happened in every relationship I've ever been in multiple times except for this one. I've been with Patrick now long enough to have those experiences be there if they were going to, and never ever ever has he ever allowed me to lay in bed by myself crying asleep. And we've had multiple late night fights, arguments, like shit's gotten real. Like, we're not some fancy fake couple, but he's never left me to just deal with it on my own like other people have in the past. So your partner, if you're a girl, should care for you emotionally. And if you're a man, your emotions are extremely important too, and you shouldn't be blasted. So,
and another one
those are two big ones.
Two really big ones. And another one I think is pretty... is probably a form of emotional abuse, or at least a derivative, is dream killing.
Dream killing.
That's a big one.
Yes.
You need to, part of being in a relationship and getting to know somebody, and you get to understand what drives them, what their you get to understand what their dreams are, and their passion, and where they want to be, and
their
especially
goals,
if you're just dating somebody,
aspirations.
And you'll find out in that moment, or you should find out in that moment, if this is somebody that you can sort of align with.
Yeah.
And because those dreams and those passions and those things that people want to do with their life, and what they're saying is, this is who I'm meant to be. And that'll never go away. That's never going to change. Their life will change, but the passion and that those things are not ever going to change. And if you're with somebody who you want to be with for a long time, and you want this to be a positive relationship, and you want to be a power couple, then absolutely have to support each other's dreams.
Yeah, and be able to. Sometimes people don't have the capacity to. I was in a relationship before where nobody wanted to move. Like, I would not move. He would not move out of the town. And, I couldn't do what I wanted to do in the town. So sometimes it's just that simple. But you should never sacrifice your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, what you're here to do, your purpose for somebody who just can't do that for you, can't be there with you. Yeah. That's a relationship that's not worth being in. When you're in a power couple relationship, you both have a vision and purpose, and you work together towards it as a couple. And you have your own dreams and your own goals, and you do those separately, but together you do it as well. And any kind of form of dream killing, I guess, or suffocating your dreams and aspirations, telling you that it's not good enough, that you're not good enough, that you're not going to be able to. You don't have enough money.
Happy?
Why can't you just be happy? You don't have enough money. We're not moving. What are you going to do? You're going to uproot your children. You're going to quit your job? That's crazy. I can list all the excuses and reasons why someone would tell you that you're not worth going after your dreams. And if your significant other is doing that to you and saying those things to you, it's time to go, girl and guys.
You need to consider leaving. Because at the end of the day, that's just not okay. And all that's going to happen is you're just going to slowly but surely hate that person.
Yep. And you're never going to get those dreams you want.
Because you'll never do the thing that you wanted to do, and then in 20 years, bring on the midlife crisis.
And the right
because
person.
Now it's and you will directly blame the person you're with for you not having done what you wanted to do. So you can do that now and get out of the relationship and find somebody that'll support you. Or in 20 years, you can have a midlife crisis and then, I don't know, and then divorce and go get an apartment at 50 years old. So we have physical abuse, emotional abuse, dream killing. Any toxic behaviors your partner has, such as gambling, addictions, alcoholism, I don't know, there's drug use, stealing, crime, dangerous situations, any sort of toxic or addictive behaviors your partner has and has a repeated pattern of having, that's it. It's a deal breaker. You're done. There's such a long... We can go down this path about addictions and toxic behavior forever. And psychology's got that figured out, guys. There are like clinics we can go to, okay, if we have an alcohol problem. But your wife isn't responsible for fixing your alcoholism. And if you're a wife, you're never going to fix his alcoholism. That's it. You have to detach yourself from addictions completely and solely. And you cannot go down with an addicted person because you love them, and you will. And a relationship and love is never going to be enough to inspire somebody to quit an addiction. I've seen this so many times in my life. I could tell you so many stories about being around people with addictions. It would make your head spin. I have a very good first experience education on addictions, and I will tell you that you cannot change it. Yeah. What you find out about addictions and all for someone to change who's addicted and they have these addictions, it has to be intrinsic.
Which is and who knows what spurs that?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's probably different for every person.
Yeah.
Probably what caused the addiction is different for every person.
Yes.
But to get away from it and to really give it up, it has to come from inside. It can't come from your person.
You cannot, and you cannot expect your person to then decide to quit their addiction because you left them either. This is a whole topic that's really heavy, but any type of addicted substance abuse or anything like that is a definite red flag that the relationship is toxic.
Yeah, because you're just gonna spiral down the toilet.
I've seen the behaviors of these addictive people. You can't tell me that there are healthy alcoholics or healthy drug addicts. I've seen them all.
So I think let's talk about a big one, and that's sex, right?
Sex.
Sex is huge, and sex is important in a relationship.
Massively.
And it's a part of every healthy relationship. And
well, yeah.
So if you find yourself in a relationship that's sexless for a long period of time, major red flags, man.
Like 3 to 6 months.
I think for a while. I mean, I just say because this is something that it's sort of proven. A lot of the stuff that's out there will tell you that it's a more of a need for men. So it isn't something that men can just really stop doing and give up.
Well, it's a big problem
they
if you're
will.
not having sex with each other.
Yeah, they will. For you, they'll stop and they'll wait, and but.
I mean, it's a huge indicator that the relationship is broken.
Yeah, that gives fixed. So sex, there's a lot
It's
of
not
things in
fixable.
your
You can't just fix it. Even if you're in a sexless relationship and you start having sex with your person, it's not. If you have all these other problems, that's not going to fix it.
It's usually, I think, a symptom of a much bigger problem.
The end.
A much bigger problem that you need to deal with.
And it's incompatibility.
Yeah.
Basically, down at the root of it, it's incompatibility. But if you're not having sex in your marriage and your relationship outside of health reasons, that's a huge red flag. Big time. Big, 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 big time.
And that can lead to another one of our red flags, which is sleeping in different rooms.
Yeah. Who's doing that for 20 years because they have children?
This isn't the Lucy and Ricky Ricard sleeping in
Stop
different
doing
beds.
that.
And or if you get in I think a little bit more realistic example of this is like you get into a big argument, and I'm sleeping on the couch. Ooh.
Well, I don't think that every now and then is an indicator you're in a toxic relationship. But I think if you're moved into the guest room,
if it becomes a regular thing,
it's over.
Yeah,
it's over.
If you're sleeping regularly in different places, then that's it. Every time I've had that happen in relationships, I've heard of that happening. That is the end. So if you're in that situation, you gotta, start looking for a place to move. Yeah. Well, then can you turn your person into a roommate?
It's just not good.
What's the point of that? How is that a relationship ever going to build you up and make you any better if you're not, come on.
No. So that's a very good sign.
That's definitely a bad one. And another red flag would be fantasizing about a life outside the one you've got.
Yeah.
There's it's one thing to have hopes and dreams and aspirations, but you need to look into your own heart here and be honest. When you're dreaming about the future and you're working towards your goal, do you see your person with you?
Maybe you're fantasizing about what your life will look like once you actually finally leave that shitty relationship.
That's a scary thought, huh?
That's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And then finally I was like, you know what? I am going to leave this shitty relationship.
I'm out.
And I'm glad I did, I got to tell you. So if you're fantasizing about life outside of your relationship or, what would it look like if I just broke up with him? That's a very good indication that you should probably break up with him. And when you're in a relationship that's extremely satisfying and gives you everything you're looking for and serves a purpose much greater than yourself, you can't really see your future outside of your relationship. So it's one of those things where it's like you don't really know if you don't know. But when you actually are with a partner that is of a level greater than yours, you would never fantasize. Like the only fantasy you can have is together. So it's a contrast that is definitely worth trying to see.
Absolutely.
And if you're
it happens naturally too, doesn't it?
What?
When you're that seeing your life and your future together when you're with the right person.
Because
you just sort of naturally
this option has you and I together. It's like infinitely good, and then this option is like me without you, and it's like infinitely shitty.
Yeah.
So like it's really easy, whereas it was the flip side before. So this is where I was before, which is like wasn't really going anywhere. Or without him, maybe I had some chances there. So if you're fantasizing outside of your own relationship about opportunities or experiences, time to go.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And our last red flag for today is going to be infidelity. That one seems like it might be kind of obvious that if
all of them should be obvious.
But if one of the two people in the relationship are having another relationship outside the relationship, you should probably there's definitely something missing out of the primary relationship. That's the only reason people have affairs. Infidelity happens because there's something major missing out of your primary relationship. You have a need that's not being fulfilled, and then all of a sudden it gets fulfilled by someone else outside the relationship, and that's a no-go. That's a bad
We both
thing.
have first-hand experiences of this happening in our
Yeah.
life. Not us being cheated on, but us coming very close to cheating because of that. And also from all the education we've done and research and what we know now about men and women, we feel very, very strongly that infidelity of any kind is just like all the other ones. It's over. You're
It's
done.
a major issue.
You're done.
And if you understand where it's coming from, if you all of these things, if you understand what causes them and what the effect is on your relationship over time, then I think it'll help give you the power that you need to make the right decision, which maybe is to just go ahead and get out of this relationship.
Yeah. So that's it. So let's read them really quickly. So sleeping in separate rooms.
Yep.
Sexless.
Fantasizing about a life outside the one you're in.
That's a bad sign, guys.
Abuse, physical and emotional.
Yes.
Infidelity.
No.
Toxic behaviors and addictions.
Immediately. We
That's
don't
it.
play that.
Right? Homie, don't play that.
We do not mess around with crackheads. We
Homie,
just
define-
don't, okay? No crackheads. And I know it's funny, but I mean, it's also like alcoholics. I mean, we all of them.
A lot of addictions, yeah.
Yeah,
And
all
then
of 'em.
dream killing.
Yeah. If you're not going to be able to go where I'm going to go, then what are we doing?
See ya.
And if you're not in a relationship that's not elevating you, serving a higher purpose that's bigger than yourselves are apart, then don't be in one.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're hurting. If you're not growing, you're contracting. So
And we want you to grow with us. So that's what we've got for today, guys. Thanks for joining us. Check us out on YouTube all the way. You are watching Ashley on Facebook.
thank you so
Check
much.
me out on Facebook. I'm tagged here. If we're not friends, be my friend, man. I need more
Seriously.
friends. Why are we not friends?
He's really cute.
I'm taken, but I need friends. I need lots of friends, please. So it's how I derive my own self-worth.
No,
It's through you being friends
not
with
true.
me.
And hey, if this
No.
is a little bit serious
Yeah.
and a little bit close to home, I've been there. And I just want you to know that I don't want anybody to feel like we're just here blasting at people. We've
Yeah.
both been there. And the reason we've been there is why we're here now and why we're able to help. So we want to help. And if you have any questions or you have any concerns or you want to reach out and have someone to talk to, send me a message or DM me or whatever,
Yeah.
because I'd be more than willing to help.
DM us. Check me out. I'm on Instagram at SOML83.
And I'm on Instagram on Ashley I. Wilson. And thank you so much for watching. We so appreciate it. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if you have any questions or concerns, or if you think we're crazy. You can tell us. That'd be fine.
I'm crazy about you.
I hope you have a really beautiful Saturday, and here's to having a really wonderful relationship in your future. If you have to break up with the one you're in now, it's okay. The future is bright. And keep watching our content, because we're going to come out with all sorts of stuff about how to break up, what to do then, and if you're ready at any point in your life, how to get something really, really amazing.
Yeah. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. See ya.
Bye!